Assalamu alaikum, guys. I've been missing for a while. I need to sort some stuff out now. I've changed countries. You'll see my background is different. Don't expect it to stay the same. But yeah, I'm back and I'm ready to go. Just want to say this exciting content going to be coming out every week. And I'm in the process of getting a guest speaker to come very soon. But anyways, into the topic for the day. Today I want to talk about the pros and cons of taking a gap year. And I took a gap year, but it was less of a gap year, more of a deferred entry into uni. So I didn't have to reapply into uni. I got my offer in after my A levels finished, and I just asked them to allow me to come next year. I requested a deferred entry, and they granted it gratefully. But yeah, a bit of context into why of what I did in my gap year. So as soon as A levels finished, I left Manchester and I drove to Turkey. We went to Spain, Italy, Greece, Bulgaria, and then Turkey finally. I couldn't go the traditional route via France, Germany, etc. because I was not vaccinated. I'm still not vaccinated. Actually, no, I am vaccinated. But I couldn't go to the traditional route, so yeah, we had to go on a long way, a couple ferries and stuff. But yeah, so I did that, and then I stayed from end of A levels, which was about July, till August. No, sorry, till October. I stayed in Turkey. Went on a holiday in Turkey a couple of times. But yeah, then when I got back to England in the beginning of October, I worked in sales till January. And then after that, I went back to Turkey, had a couple of weddings. So I went to Pakistan in February, did a couple of trips to England, one during Ramadan, and I've just got back to England now, 1st of August, about 2 weeks ago. Now, into the reasons why I took a gap year, there's a couple of reasons, and I'll explain them to you now. So basically, first of all, one of the biggest reasons why I took a gap year was because I was hospitalized in my second year of sixth form in December 2020. Yeah, December 2020, I was hospitalized. And it left me with long-lasting health issues. For example, I was on heavy heart medication. I was on beta blockers, slowing my heart rate down. I was on some other medicines. But yeah. And also, as well as that, 6 months after my hospitalization, well, totally in about 8 months total, I was advised by my cardiologist to restrain from any form of strenuous exercise. So I couldn't exercise at all. All I could do was walk. Like, that's all I was allowed to do. But generally I was quite weak. So because of that, my family and we decided it best not to move out to London straight away. Straight after this. Because it's quite a fast-paced city, and going there on my own, I think it'd be hard for me in the state I was in. I'm alright now, alhamdulillah. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons. And another reason is that, personally, I believe that, after you come out of uni and you start your career, it'll be hard for you to take, like, the break that I took, or the gap year break. Forget even a year, even a couple months break, it'd be hard for you to do, because once you're in that mindset of making money and you've got your career, you've started your career path, it's hard for you to leave your career path, or take a break for a bit, especially when you've just gone straight, and then you're in the mindset that, oh yeah, you're making money. Why would you want to stop making money? Do you know what I mean? Once you've started, it's hard to stop. So that's a bit of background, a bit of context into why and what I did in my gap year. But now let's talk about the different pros and cons, the positives and negatives of taking a gap year, which I've realized. So we'll start with the pros first. The first pro is that you're a bit more mature than the rest of your classmates in uni. Well, I'm yet to find that out, but hopefully I will be a bit more mature, because you'll be older than them. You've had that extra year to do more, to see more of the world. But something that might actually bother you about this is that you might think that a lot of people are really immature, but that depends on how you are as a person. If you're generally quite immature anyway, not immature, but laid back, etc. How often do you go out and stuff like that. But that all depends on what you do as a person, or how you are as a person. I'm yet to discover, that only these revelations will come to me once I've started uni and I've got into the swing of it. But another pro of taking a year out, especially if you're moving out, is that you get to spend more time with your family and friends. Well, not exactly your friends if they're going to uni, but mainly your family. So the extra year of time, in my eyes, is definitely worth it, and it is one more year of discipline, I'd say. When you've moved out, and you've become an adult, you've become a responsible adult, and your parents can't really change or influence your behavior or your attitude. Sure, they can have that say and they can try, but you're your own person then. And that extra time with your family before you're an actual adult, or before you've, fully developed and moved out, allows you to take advantage of advice and mentoring from the people who have done the most for you, the people who are the closest to you, and it also shapes your discipline and your behavior in general. So I feel like you would benefit from that, and I feel like I have definitely benefited from that, and it has allowed my parents to shape me in a little bit more, whereas if I went to uni 1 year earlier. Another pro of taking a year out is that all you've known till the end of your A levels, till the end of college, is studying. From obviously when you're in school, you're not all the time studying. You're not always revising for exams, but generally, you've been in full-time education for about 10 years, 12 years. From the age of 5 till the age of 18. 13 years. You're in education, so deadlines, exams, studying. Uni is pretty much the same thing. Obviously, you have a different social life, but you're still in that cycle of education. You're still in full-time, basically, education. And I feel like a year out gives you a break from that constant cycle of education and constant cycle of studying, and it gives your mind a change of scene, which I feel like was beneficial for me. But I also fear that you might break out of the habit of studying, or you might forget how to study. This is a big fear. This is a lot of things that my teachers and my friends used to say to me before I took a year out. Is like, what if you can't study when you get to uni? But at the end of the day, for me, I thought, look, it's when I get to uni, I'm not taking no for an answer. It's not like I'm gonna say, oh, I forgot how to study. No, I've got to go through with it anyway. I'm not gonna say this, and make excuses. I'm gonna be like, look, I've got to get it. I've not worked so hard and tried to get into uni and done all of this to just not want to study in uni. So I feel like for me, it was more of my mental behavior that even if I forget how to study, what's the worst that can happen? It's not something that I've not done before. It will just mean that I've gone out of habit of studying. And to be honest, to get yourself back into that habit, it might be difficult, but it's still possible, and it's very likely. Sorry, one second. But yeah, those are some of the main pros that I see, as well as just generally seeing more of the world, experiencing the world, getting a job. They are all things which you can benefit from. But at the same time, the I say cons, but actually it's generally one con, which I see with uni. It's all on with a year out. Sorry, it's all on how you spend your year out of uni. It's what you make of that year. If you don't do anything in that year, then that year has been wasted for you, wasted for those around you, and you've took that year out of your life. Essentially, if you've not done anything, then that's definitely wasted time. You might as well have gone to uni then if you've done nothing. But that's mainly the biggest drawback of a gap year, which is why the biggest piece of advice I'd give to anyone thinking about taking a gap year, or if you know anyone thinking about taking a gap year, is that you should plan it out and realistically think about certain things which you can accomplish, skills you can obtain, experiences, etc. So think about what you can actually do in that gap year. Will it be beneficial for you? And I think if you plan it out, and you don't have to do, great goals, you don't have to, I don't know, it depends on what you are as a person. You don't have to like write a book or whatever. But as long as you're always doing something productive with your time, I feel like that will be generally net beneficial. Whereas if you have wasted most of your time, done a couple of things, maybe read a book, then you should have just gone to uni, to be honest. But if you can make good use of that gap year, feel like you've benefited generally. And people say, oh yeah, I learned how to do this, I learned how to do that. But at the same time, you're forgetting that just because you're going to uni doesn't mean that you're not going to benefit from the same things. So it's got to be generally, you've got to set yourself a target of what to, like, of if you went to uni, this would be this much. And if you went to a gap year, it'd be this much generally if you did nothing. Because say, for example, in uni, you learn this much, obviously outside of the actual knowledge and the course content, social manners, social life, etc., you might learn this much. And if you do nothing in a gap year, you'll learn this much. So you need to not do this much, because that would just be the same as doing uni. You need to go that bit higher. So that's one of the problems of a gap year. Well, it's a problem, but it's also a good thing as well. You should be setting yourself better targets in uni, because the whole reason, the essence of taking a gap year is to do more. You think it'd be more productive. There's no reason of taking a gap year and thinking, yeah, I'll get to do nothing, or in uni I'm gonna be a better person in uni, or something like that. You should be like, no, I'm gonna be better in this gap year. I'm gonna do more than what I would have done in uni, aside from course content, obviously. But yeah, if you don't plan, and if you don't decide on what you need to do, or just if you don't plan on being productive, then you'll waste a lot of time, especially in that holiday mode. Because you'll just be like, generally the summer after A levels is one of the best summers you'll get. The summer after GCSEs and A levels is one of the best summers, because you'll be thinking that, especially with GCSEs, it's like, some people don't do A levels, some people don't do BTECs or whatever. Some people just go into work, or they don't really care. They think, oh, I've done my compulsory stuff. And then after, if you've chosen A levels or BTECs or whatever, then after you've completed that, you think, yeah, I've done all my compulsory stuff. So it's quite a relieving feeling. But if you're taking a gap year and you're not doing further training or further towards your career path, then you can stay in that holiday phase for a while, and that can be negative for you. Obviously, yeah, enjoy your time off, but also be productive and know when you need to start getting back into that routine of working, because when you are in education, you are working quite a lot. You might not feel, what I've realized is that I might not have felt that I was working a lot, but you actually were. You were working 5 days a week at least, maybe an extra day on the weekend, even without studying time. Because although you might not have been extra revising after school, you're still in college, you're still in sixth form, and you're still actively learning throughout the day. So it might not feel like, yeah, you're not doing extra, but even without doing extra, you're still in school. Your mind is still being stimulated, you're still learning, you're still in a habit of waking up at a certain time. So you need to make sure you get out of that holiday phase and actually do something productive with your time. So, you're because you've just finished A levels, you'll have that working mindset and the skills and the willpower to complete goals of a similar nature or a similar level. So that's why it's important to get out of that holiday phase quickly, and start being more productive. But like for me, for example, even though I feel like I've done a lot in my year out, I've benefited from it. For example, I worked as a salesman. I worked in IT. I feel like I learned a lot while being a salesman. Although working in IT was beneficial for me, I feel like being a salesman taught me a lot more. I love being a salesman. It was one of the best times of my life. Honestly, it was only a couple months ago. It was in winter 2021, so October to January, and it was quite funny actually what my dad did. I was working on my dad's shop, and he's partnered with one of his good friends. He's like my uncle. And basically what my dad said to me was, you're not working for me, you're working for him. So that was really smart on his behalf, because he basically said to me that, I'm not your boss, you can't piss about. I'm not your dad, you can't work for me. because I will let you piss about, and you're my son, so you're working for him. He'll sort you out, get all the training you need from him. He decides what time you come in. And I thought, some people might say, oh, you work for your dad, it didn't really count. But for me, I found it was smart on my dad's side by not directly placing me under his command. I was under quite a strict schedule. Obviously, there's still that level of leniency because I know the guy. Sorry for shaking the camera, but did it again. I know the guy, and it allowed me to still have that level of discipline while being in a job, while being in a family job. But generally, being a salesman, I think honestly, that's people say, oh, don't do a 9 to 5 or working and stuff, but being a salesman is honestly one of the best experiences, especially if you feel like you're an introverted person and you need to get yourself more extroverted or you struggle socializing. Being a salesman will teach you a lot about people in general and on how to deal with people, because essentially as a salesman you have two roles, or 3 roles, but obviously the first one is to sell your product. The second one is to sell your service. So as well as selling your product, you've got to remember that although, your sofa, I worked in furniture and appliances, although your sofa might look different, a little bit different, but at the end of the day, a sofa is a sofa. What people are essentially paying for is your service, because especially when you're a small shop, we're not like, it's not like Curry's or a big sofa shop where, it's been running for a long time, you'll get the best deals, a quick free delivery. It's not like that. It's what we work on solely is customer service and obviously customer satisfaction. So I feel like working in that type of field is very good for social skills, and for example, you'll learn how to tackle problems, day-to-day problems that people face, for example, sorting out delivery schedules, just talking to customers, getting their take on things, sorting out customer problems. Customer might like this sofa, but that's not fitting in his doorway. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to say, oh, sorry, mate, do you not like anything else? Or are you going to sort that problem out? It's things like this which I feel like taught me a lot, and I benefited from them hugely. And I feel like if you have the right mindset, you can also benefit from jobs like that, working directly in sales. Also, obviously, you will have to do complete other roles around the store, etc. But I feel overall that was a great experience for me. Obviously, I did a lot of IT as well, but I felt like the IT is quite tedious and boring, especially for my dad's quite an high IT guy. He used to teach IT to people. He did an IT business for so long. He still does. And for me, I do like IT because I know about IT. I've always been good, okay with computers. I've always known how to do stuff, etc. But at the same time, for me, it's like when my I think I look up to my dad as well in IT, but when my dad started it, he'd already done his role in sales and stuff. He'd already got there socially. But for me, I feel like until I'm there socially, I can do IT, but I don't want to get to this stage where I'm high in IT and I don't need to do social and I'm incomplete in my social sector. If you catch my drift, I feel like I'd rather do that social first, and then when I feel like I've got to a level where I desire in social skills, social mindset, etc., then I can, go into somewhere like IT where I don't need to work on my socials. I can just work on IT, etc. Sorry for that. But, let me just see if I've got anything else here. Yeah, in my year out, so I was saying that, sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I really enjoyed being a salesman, and I think it was very beneficial for anyone to do. Social skills go a lot better. But if I feel like I did a lot of stuff in my year out. For example, I started this podcast, but I still feel like I started this podcast too late. I started it in late July. I've done this is my 4th episode. If I started it as soon as my holidays finished, I would have been on about 50 episodes by now if I kept going at the pace that I wanted to go. But I didn't plan it out. It came spontaneously, such is life. But I still feel like, it would have been a lot better if I started this ages ago. I would have right now, if I was talking to you, it would be, it would be a lot bigger. It'd be a lot more professional, etc. I wouldn't be missing stuff like this. But I feel like I started it late. And if I could say to someone, I'd be like, it is of paramount importance to plan your time, plan your year well. And first, even before you've decided to do a gap year, to plan it, to think, can I do something, or am I just going to be wasting my time and, you know, time of people around me? You know, never waste a second. And overall, though, yeah, overall, to conclude, taking a gap year was one of the best decisions I ever made, I feel. And I may not have enjoyed every moment of it, as you know, you don't do in everything, you don't do in anything, you don't enjoy everything. So that's that. But I learned from the experience, and I feel like I've developed that bit more before a big monumental change in my life, you know, moving out and going to university. So I feel like it was necessary for me, and I feel like I learned a lot from it, and I could develop that bit more. Yeah. So if you have any questions or feedback, please do let me know by either commenting on this video or messaging me directly. Please also like and share this video with family and friends. Wishing you all the best. Take care.